Good morning, class. So we're moving right along in our preparation for you to write your Canada Citizenship Test. And you'll find on your desks that we have our Discover Canada, and that's a precious book where you're going to get the content so that you can respond to the questions and pass that test. So last week we've already done a couple of sections, and we talked about the field trip that we went to Ottawa which really helped us to inform some of the first readings that we did. So we're going to build on what we talked about in last class, and that was using what we call the KWL chart. And so who knows what the K stands for in that form? You'll find the form on your desk, and the K column goes, what I know. And you'll see on the whiteboard from last lesson's discussions, there was a number of things that you shared about what you know about Canada and Canada's history and or people and or government. And one of the key points was that this year Canada's 150 years old. You talked about knowing that our land mass is the second largest in the world, that we have 2 languages, and based on our field trip knowledge, we know that Ottawa is the capital of Canada. And then the second column that we worked on in that form, what I want to know. And you all shared ideas, and some of the ones that we wrote in the form was you wanted to know about the people in Canada, how the country's governed, things that people do, and who founded the country. So those were some of the key questions you pointed out that you want to know. So today, the third column that we did not fill in was the L column, is what I learned. And you're going to use this piece of material for today's activity that you're going to do in a group. So I'm going to ask that you divide yourselves into 2 groups, 4 in each group, and that you take with you your Discover Canada guide. You also have a reading card for group 1 and reading card for group 2. So depending on which group you are, you'll decide amongst yourselves which you're going to read. I want you to take your word list with you as well, because I want you to be paying attention as you go through the activity about the words that are used, and highlight them, and as part of the activity that you will use those if you feel comfortable and know how to use them in the right context. And we're going to work on that if there's any difficulty. So your group activity is going to be 4 to a group, and 2 people in the group are going to be readers and 2 people are going to be listeners. Again, you choose. And you take the reading card that's assigned for your group, and you're going to take turns reading that. The readers can decide to divide it in half. They can decide to read every other sentence, however you choose to do that. And the other 2 in your group are going to listen to what's being read to them. At the end of the period for reading, the 2 listeners are going to talk amongst themselves and write in the column what you learned. And you may not have learned the same thing, even though the content's the same. You may have taken something away that was of particular interest to you. So I want you to write up to 3 points of what you learned between the 2 of you. And then you're going to present back to the 2 readers what you learned and talk about why they were of particular interest to you. So you're going to have about 15 minutes to do that activity. That's correct, Martha. 2 of you are going to read. The other 2 will listen. The 2 listeners are going to provide feedback to the readers on what they learned. That's correct. You only read the page that's assigned to your group. So group 2 will take page 17, and group 1 will take page 16. That's correct. And make sure that you fill out what you learned in the rest of that form that we have for your KWL. Okay, so I'm going to walk around the room If anybody has any questions, please just let me know, and I'll give you a hand and or some guidance. Okay, that was great. Everyone got their articles read. Everyone appeared to do very well. Your pronunciation was good. The listeners appeared to have a good understanding of the content, and they've got their forms all filled out. So these are resources that I want you to use as we go through the other various activities as we progress in our Discover Canada. What I want you to do now is to work independently. So you are to each get your iPads out with your hearing devices. I want you to get your sheet for Cornell note-taking. And you'll recall last week we used this, and I want you to start to put that into regular practice. So this is going to be a key tool that we're going to use today. And you'll recall on the Cornell sheet that on the column right here it says all ideas in real time. So as you go through the activity, you're going to take notes of what you're hearing, and then later you'll do the key points and summary columns, and I'll help you fill that out as we go along. So your activity is going to be that you each get to go to YouTube, and I want you to find a 5 to 10 minute video on any topic about Canada that is of interest to you. And while we're talking about history and how the country was formed, history also can be about sports, food, fashion, industry, agriculture. So what's ever of interest to you, I want you to look through YouTube and find a 5 to 10 minute video. And for example, the video can be about sports, and I'm going to say hockey. So you would just do a search in YouTube for the history of hockey. And I want you to listen to the video, and as I mentioned, use your Cornell form to take notes as you listen. I would suggest that you listen about 2 to 3 times, and at the end of that listening period, you should have your notes done, which is going to prepare you for tomorrow's activity. So you're going to listen to the video, take your Cornell notes, and you are going to, from those notes and from your listening, I want you to prepare a 2 to 3 minute presentation that you will present to your classmates tomorrow on your chosen topic, a historical story of Canada, whether it's about sports or government or agriculture, whatever your topic. So you can start to work on that now. You're going to have about you can have about 20 minutes to work on it in class, and then I would like you to finish it up this evening so that when you come back to class, you can do your presentation tomorrow. That's correct. You don't need to use this form anymore, the KWL form. We're going to move on to the Cornell notes. And as you listen to the video, just jot down some ideas. That's right. Don't worry about grammar or even spelling. Just do the very best you can by keeping your notes so that you can refer back to it as you prepare your presentation. Sure.